All right, hello everyone, and welcome to my first impressions of the Chicago layout. Okay, so just like how I usually do, I'm just going to go through, kind of give you my first impressions. I apologize for this video being a little bit later and getting out than what I usually do. Had some errands to run and then just got back home and printed this out, got all the lines, kind of just what can I see from now. Of course, like I say with all of them, what I say here, kind of take it with a grain of salt, because you could get out on the field and then realize, oh wait, this shot doesn't work anymore, or something like that. So that being said, I just wanted to go through my first impressions. I think it's going to play pretty quick. I think it's going to be one of those get down the field kind of field. So hopefully it is, because those are more fun to play than just sit behind a bunker and shoot 12 pods. So let's start off with the back couple bunkers here. So starting in with this can, I think these off the break shots are going to be kind of tough. Like this one right here, you can get a shot, but that guy should be able to get underneath it. I mean, it's a pretty far shot to get across like that. I mean, if they pull up quick enough, I take that back. If they pull up quick enough, they can catch that guy. But if they run deep and then go up or something like that, you can change around where they have to guess where to drop that paint. The other one is, this is threading the needle. This one's going to be really tough to make. I'm not saying that this is going to be a very viable option, but that does look like it's there. And then being able to stop a little bit of the Dorito side movement. Now, the only downside is that if you miss them in this gap, from this Dorito 2 to Dorito 3, you would have to, again, thread the needle, and if they stayed low, they can get underneath it, because the Dorito is going to come down like that, so the paint's going to be, so let me do it this way, so the paint would be dropping across like that. So if they crawl and dive up, they should be safe from your paint there. I'm not sure looking this way is going to be that effective, other than maybe trying to get a kill off the break and then book out from there. Looking over to the snake side, I think you might be able to drop some blind shots over the top right there, and then also shooting into your snake gaps. But this isn't going to be super effective from what it looks like so far to stop anything on the snake side. This might be one of those bunkers, like I said, that you just kind of lane and then you just got to get out of there. The other can, same thing. If you pull up real quick, you might be able to catch this guy here and then shooting out this way. So if they're trying to go out into this tall cake, you might be able to catch them out that way, but that's going to be probably the more viable option for this off the break. But this seems like it might be another one that you just need to shoot and then get out of there. It's not going to be something that you want to stay there for a long time. And then again, you can do some over the top, because that brick is flat. I'm sorry, it's laying down, so it's not standing up, so you should be able to drop over the top. And then you do have this shot too, but that's so far of a shot that once they put you in and they dive, by the time you come out and start shooting again, this isn't going to be something that you're going to be able to catch anyone with. Okay, so this one kind of went a little bit further up the field, so we'll start, and I'm going to do just Dorito side and then just snake side and then just the center, and then I'll talk bounce shots after this. So over here, this cake. Oh, I just realized I forgot to talk about this cake. Sorry. So getting out here, you would have to worry about that other can shooting, that gap over here. But I think if you dive out, you should be okay. But shooting back, you can see that you can kind of control your wire a little bit. If they try to dive into the snake, you can at least drop it down in front of that brick there. Sorry, that little mini cake. So when you shoot down that way, you should be able to stop them if they try to jump over, or if they're trying to come here and then crawl up. I think you might be able to drop it down on them. And because it's a tall cake, you can stand up a little bit more and shoot down on that snake. Looking on the inside, I would say that this guy has more of an advantage on you, because they'll be able to kind of sit and be a little bit more comfortable than you in a tall cake. It might be better for you just to kind of play the wrap. I mean, I guess you could shoot back over the top. Yeah, you could shoot back over the top and get this same shot. It wouldn't be bad to throw that every so often, but I think this guy might be good to deny the snake from moving out, because we'll get into it. I think this brick is going to be really, really important to get to. Okay, now let's go over to this other one. So with this one, over to this cake, I don't think that this is going to be something smart to go to. So yes, you can shoot down the tape. Great. It's such a big bunker, though, that they can stand up over the top and shoot up over all this spot here and also look inside. So unless that guy's trying to come around, then maybe. But I feel like you can do the same thing from this this bunker as well to shoot across. So yeah, I mean, if they try to wrap around, you should be able to shoot that guy if you're in that bunker there. So getting into this tower, so you have a little bit more options. So being able to shoot those same gaps. This one, you are a little bit closer. So, I mean, being able to shoot down on someone and deny that movement there. I think the snake is going to have issues with this guy and this guy. This one is a problem too, because you can see how many shots they have on gaps. So if they get further up the field into this tower, the advantage, again, with this one is that since it's the tower and it's taller, you can stand up a little bit more and shoot down a little bit easier, even easier than this cake. So this could be an advantage that you have over that snake player. This Aztec, so you do have some advantages to be able to stand up over the top to shoot back up the center a little bit if someone tries to come around. But you can also shoot this gap here. And I think that this gap, once the snake player comes around over here, this guy should be able to do some damage there. The only downside is that it's so small that if he misses and that guy's in there, then you just need to go get this guy. I think the snake is just going to have to play aggressive and just try to get up into this brick, because you'll see there really aren't a lot of good shots on that side of the field. So let's move over to the center on the Dorito side. So this tall cake, you do have those two gaps there, and then a little bit into the snake as well. This would be one of those, maybe if you started here, you came here, and then you would fill out into this tower or going up into the center. I don't think that you should stay here. It doesn't seem like it's going to be doing a whole lot of effective anything, because it's kind of threading the needle here. Same thing here. You're not really doing anything that's going to be beneficial to your team. At least getting up the field, you can start getting more of a press, and it's going to, of course, be easier to shoot someone when you are closer. So having to do a long shot, coast to coast kind of thing, is going to make it difficult. So going up into this tower, so again, being able to stand up is always good, and that means you can kind of push up into it a little bit. You can shoot up the center. I think the center should be fun. I don't know. I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but you can shoot up the center. And then also on this side, you can kind of deny a little bit of movement. But getting into this mini Dorito might be better to stop that. The only downside is that they can stand up on you and shoot down. So we'll talk a little bit more about some stuff that you can do in the center to deny that Dorito side bump. Okay. Okay, so speaking of the Dorito side, so from this Dorito 1, so all of these you can shoot down the tape. I just didn't want to draw the same line a bunch of times. At least from this Dorito 1, you can stop their other Dorito from moving in. Again, the only downside is that once they get out past here and come up, you can't shoot that way. So if they dive out and crawl up, they'll be able to get there, and you wouldn't even be able to know it. You do have some inside shots up the center, and you might be able to catch a pack, but this is going to be a hard shot unless they're trying to fill up. If there's a team that delays here and then always goes up into this tower, then you can shoot that cross shot and stop them from doing that. So that's an option, but there's probably some better bunkers that you can get to on this field rather than staying so far back. Into the Dorito 2, so you can shoot back into this tower. You can shoot into the center. Again, you have that center shot, and you have a little bit better of a shot now, a little bit better of an angle there. Of course, as you get closer, the angle into here and across there is just going to get better into that tower. So if you're playing this tower, you really need to be mindful of the Dorito side. If they get into a Dorito 2, you just need to push up and just start living on your gun on this side of the field. So just as a heads up. And then if you can get to their side of the field, it's always going to be better. So I think as a Dorito player, that Dorito and this Dorito should be your goal. If you can get up into their side of the field, you start being able to shoot even the snake side, catch the snake one off guard, being able to shoot the cross at both of those cans, and then if you wrap and then dive in, then you have even more backs that you can shoot at. So this is going to be a good prop. So those two are the ones that you'd want to try to jump into. Okay, so snake side. You might use this to get into the snake. There are some minor shots, but I feel like you can get pinched here pretty easy, and you don't have anywhere that you can jump into. So yes, you could try to jump into the snake, but it's a low beam. So if they're shooting back at you, it's not like you're going to be able to dive out of the way and then crawl up. It's going to be difficult to do that. I'm not saying you can't, but yeah, that movement up there is going to be difficult. This shot is pretty useless. It's there, but I wouldn't go here to stop this movement. I feel like there's better spots to do that, and I'm not shooting from the snake side of the field all the way over to the D side to try to stop movement. When again, you snap that guy in, now you have free reign to dive in. It's going to be easy to get up there. So if you came here, it would just be as a variant to get into the snake. Actually, in the snake one, or I guess there really is. I guess snake 1, 2, 3. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do on the kings. So this snake cake is pretty useless, just because. I mean, there's a bunch that can shoot down on you. You're going to need to use this and this to actually get up into the brick. The advantage, at least with here, is if you can crawl around and then crawl tight to the beam, you only have this little, that's only a couple, maybe 2 feet. So just diving across real quick and then getting into a big bunker like that is going to give you some more options. So those shots on the inside of the field are not going to be as good. At least from here, you're a little bit... I mean, both of them aren't the best. You're going to have to just really try to be super aggressive and get up into that brick, because once you get up into the brick, you have some shots on the inside, and then you can wrap, and you have a bunch of more shots there. The downside is that, remember, with all the shots that you have, they have the same shot back, so don't forget about that. And the only downside, too, with this snake side is that it's not like you can dive into their side of the field like you can on the D side. You could, I guess, dive into these little W's, but it's going to be hard to fight from there. So it's an option, at least maybe pushing up the field. But once you're in here, your center and your Dorito side really need to try to get to work, because yes, you can do damage, but I don't feel like the next move is going to be smart if it's to there or there. Because now, okay, great, you're on their side of the field, but I'm not really sure that it's going to be that viable. So let's see. I mean, yeah, you can maybe shoot some packs, but again, you're on your knees. You're going to have to play on the edge of a W, so you're playing on this side and this side. So there's a lot less that can protect you here. All right, and this center looks like it's going to be crazy. So let's do the Dorito side first, and I'll just work my way over, and then I'll come back to the center, because there's some weird stuff I think you might be able to do here. So on this side, being able to shoot these gaps is going to be good. So what could be good is, let's say that this player, let's say that you're this player, and this guy makes the bump and you bump out to here. Now you can at least still stop that movement. So as long as you see them dive in, if you miss, just dive over to here. I think that might be a good option. And then that way you can stop that next movement. And they're going to have to commit to try to dive in, because I think it's going to be kind of difficult for them to shoot past that if you're tucked in. So you can just kind of wait for them there, and they would have to get to your side of the field and shoot you in the back. So that wouldn't necessarily be your fault unless you're not listening to your teammates. If you get to their side of the field, I think you might be able to shoot some stuff on the inside, but I'm not sure if it's really going to be that much better to get to their side of the field, just because someone could come through the center here and shoot you over the top there. And I just feel like them having to commit around is going to make it where your guys have a potential of shooting that player before he makes it over to you. Of course, same thing going back, though, is if you try to commit around, you just got to commit hard and go take that guy out. But because there's so much stuff that they can be in, you just want to confirm exactly where they're at. But getting into their side, that wing, that stand-up wing, I mean, yeah, you can stop some movement here and stop that, but I feel like... I mean, if you're here and they're still in the Dorito one, then yeah, maybe come up into here. But if you're here and then you dive across because they dove in, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say, because on paper there's a lot of variables that can happen in a game, and I haven't been able to play on it yet. So I'm just not sure how effective it's going to be to get into here, because now you've stopped your ability to be able to move over to the other side of the field. At least if you're here and they call you out and you jump over to here and someone tries to come around and bunker you, you have a chance that your guys will shoot them first, and then you can fill back over. Or you can be moving around inside here and make it difficult for them to know exactly where you're going to come out. Kind of like with the W, when that was still around, those little, we called them windows, the windows of the W, you could shoot through the top of either side and then come out either side of the W. So that was an option. Over on this side, so this I think would be good to be able to deny the snake. I think that it's going to be possible to stop them from being able to get that movement out there. I think there is going to be a bounce shot off these pins, though. I'm just not sure exactly from where. I think on the next page I have an idea for this one. I'm not sure where you're going to be able to shoot this one to be able to have it bounce in. Maybe... No, that's going to get blocked. I'll have to look at it on the field. But this side, because of this pin being here, when you shoot across, you just want to be mindful of if you start hearing that getting shot, you just might need to tuck in a little bit more. And then again, going into their side of the field, I think here you have an advantage of if they're in the snake and you come up to here, you might be able to sneak in a shot on them, or it's going to force them to have to come to the outside here, and then that means that your snake side can kind of go to work and shoot that guy out, and then you have a little bit more free reign. Moving up into here, you just are going to have a better shot. The only thing is that you have to round this side and then dive in. That guy's going to be able to see you for a lot of stuff there, so this would be a really tricky move to do if there's someone in that snake. They should be able to shoot you every time. Like, honestly, I wouldn't even go and do that unless that guy's completely down in the bunker and you can dive in super quick. But even then, you're having to commit around, and then you have a couple other people that can shoot you on the way in. If you did get here, though, you do have some movement that you can stop. So there is that at least. Now, getting into this center, I think that this little center gap right here, you're going to be able to shoot up over the top of the brick here. Of course, all inside here, you want to be mindful of your feet. That's just going to be something that always is the case, because at tournaments, it heats up, the bunkers inflate a little bit, you're going to have those corners start pulling up, so you just want to be mindful of that. But I think you might be able to stay kind of in this little gap and kind of, jump back and forth and shoot these gaps here to stop that movement, or being able to catch people maybe sleeping a little bit, trying to come through the center. You can come up over the top and shoot that. Being able to, again, see a movement up the center here. Being able to, looks like you can even come here and shoot that snake from there as well. So I think that this is going to be a good little audible that you can kind of jump back and forth between and just confuse them. I mean, that little center spot right there is, I think, going to be good. So I guess we'll see this weekend. Hopefully this weekend. I don't know if you guys saw that there is that hurricane coming. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully we can get practice in, but it looks like it might be hitting on Saturday night. So that means that we wouldn't be able to practice all weekend. And some of our guys are flying in, or one of our guys is flying in. So, and then other guys have to travel in and drive. So it'd be difficult. But anyways, so let's talk about some of the bounce shots that I had seen. There's probably more than this. Of course, when you're actually playing, then always try it. If it's at practice, just try it. There's no point in not trying it, because you might get lucky. So on this side, this is where, so I'm sorry, I misspoke on the last one. I guess I did find it. From this cake, if they get here before you do, you might be able to shoot it here and bounce it in. And that might actually be good to shoot that bounce and then try to run up this way. Of course, being mindful of the Dorito side, but you might be able to bounce that in. And if you don't kill that guy, at least get here, and then maybe come around and come bunker him or something. I don't know. We're going to have to see on the field how important it is to be at these spots. I think it's going to be good. It's always good to have someone in the center, I feel like, but just someone that can kind of be tricky. But I think that this bounce shot should work okay. So if maybe they're trying to post up this way, you might be able to shoot that bounce shot in. So if you were one of these guys and you ran up and shot that, you might be able to catch them. Let's see. So there are a couple that I think go into this 50 snake. So from this tower, shooting the pin should go and bounce in there. Now, if the guy's on the corner here, then he should be safe from it. I don't think that's going to be able to bounce in like that, just because it'll be like the pin is here. Or let's say that this was the pin, and this was the brick, and the pin was here. You have this area right here that it's going to be bouncing, and it's just you have too much stuff in the way here, so it might bounce in this way. So if the guy's posted this way, it'll bounce in. But if he's on this side, it's going to be going behind him. The advantage, though, is it looks like when you come here, you might even have the same shot here. No, you won't there. From here, it looks like you might be able to shoot it off that beam and skip it in. I think this one's going to be too hard of a bounce because it has to bounce in and then come back. I think it's going to lose too much of its velocity to be able to actually break on the person, or it's just going to be breaking on that. But I think if you come to this Aztec and shoot the beam here, that you're going to be able to hit it, and then it'll bounce in and maybe catch this guy even if he's wrapping, or it's going to force that person to have to come all the way to here, and then that just means that they now have to try to live from a couple people shooting at them. From this side, it looks like you might be able to shoot from this tower off this Aztec into the other tower. I think that might be a possibility. It looks like it might be better for this tower just to stay posted this way anyway, but it doesn't hurt. Like if you know that they switch, then you can do that. I think you might be able to get the same bounce from this tower here, but from this Aztec, I think you might be able to shoot it here and it bounces into the center there. So just as a mindful, if you hear that pin starting to get hit, it might be good just to kind of tuck in a little bit more, or you can switch up and come over here and, you know, have it where they think that they're safe, and then you can shoot them on certain gaps, or even come around and just try to do something. I guess you could even try to fill out this way, but well, I don't know. So yeah, so that is some of the bounce shots there. But tell me what you guys think. I mean, ultimately, I hope it plays quick. So I hope it'll be a fun layout. I don't want to have it where I just go to one bunker and shoot 13 pods. I'd rather it be that you have to get up in their face and all that. So it just makes it a lot more fun. But tell me what you guys think down in the comments down below. Thank you for, again, these are always a little bit longer, so I appreciate it. But yeah, be on the lookout. Hopefully I'll be able to get some playing footage from this weekend. If not, I'll for sure get it next weekend, and that way, usually I don't do it for the second weekend because we're just still dialing things in, but I'll do that, and then we have a practice on Thursday at the event with the Ironmen and Thunder. We're going to be doing a 2-hour set with them, just do a 3-way, so that way we can kind of just keep rotating in and out. So I might get some footage from that, but for sure I will get playing footage at some point for you guys. So I apologize if it's not going to be this weekend, but understand there's a hurricane, so I would need to make sure that my family is okay. And yeah, so thank you again, guys. I think we're like 200 subscribers below 10,000, so thank you for that. And I guess I'll see you guys in a couple days, hopefully in a couple days. But yeah, as always, remember, watch, learn, win. Thanks.